Fam. Fam. All right, fam. Check this out. Donate $300 and I'll stick this piece of broccoli directly in my ear. Yeah, that was weird. I knew that I'd seen the green screen option at some point. Um, right underneath the create highlight thing. I got the flip, mute, hide live video, retouch, which I don't even know what the hell that does. Create highlight, and right under that is the green screen button, normally. And then you've got like a lighting thing, and yeah, it kind of seems like it makes it a little bit brighter or something. But yeah, did you see that episode of South Park where Cartman starts sticking food up his butt and pooping out of his mouth? And then it ends up kind of like becoming like this fad for these cork sniffer people. They're like sitting at the table, just kind of like talking, blah blah. Oh, give me a second. And they'll like poop out of their mouth into like these shit buckets, and it's totally just normal because they're all, or I should say normalized by this group of people because it's considered affluent. What's up, Tyler? How you doing? Bam! Hello, CJ. Okay. How we doing? Here we go. Alright, we're gonna make a spaced Clapton. Spaced fused Clapton. If we're gonna get technical. I remember something about that, but I don't remember who was involved. And Mr. Slave, dude, that's kind of messed up. Fuck, I'm not even gonna get into that story. It's foul. You don't want to hear it. Sup, oi? Yes, let's get technical. Vape wrap technical. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I would have ended up helping those people a little bit longer today if yesterday hadn't of kicked my ass so hard. It was pretty brutal. Come on. Bro, you're Steve from the Minecraft movie. I'm not. I haven't seen the Minecraft movie. I don't plan to. So, um, I don't understand the reference. But I can guarantee that I'm not that person. But that's the first time I've heard that. People are always coming on here saying I look or sound like whoever, you know, and which is fine. I don't, I don't get offended easily. Um, I mean, people have compared me from anywhere from Chris from Family Guy to Jack Black. I actually look like him. Well, I'll have to. Let me look that up. Your boy was a Minecraft enthusiast. Steve from the Minecraft movie. Okay, let's see. Is Steve the character's name or the actor's name? It looks like Steve is played by Jack Black. So, another Jack Black reference. Which is funny. Sure. Whatever. Whatever, dude. Chicken Steve. I don't know, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I suggest you talk about things that people know what you're saying. Um, my kid's too old for that shit. You know, I'm sure I might know what you're talking about if I had a kid that was like 7 or, maybe in their teens. But I think that game is kind of caps out for its age group, you know. All right. Ugh. He doesn't play anymore, but he had a kid. Yeah, like I was saying, it seems like that game kind of, you know, sure the kids are into it for a little while, but they kind of, they either discover girls or, something else. Hopefully, you know, like I played video games till I was about in 7th grade, and then I was like, oh, skateboarding, you know, music, girls, that's a lot funner, you know. Girls are funner. And back then, if you kept playing video games when you were an adult, or once you got to a certain age, you were a dork. Now, there's, because of social media, um, all these dorks have come together and they've built like a community and they find like a home to fit in. Damn it. Where before that just wouldn't have been a thing. Like I have, younger relatives, and they had, dreams of being like like a YouTube game player person. But now those kids are like adults, and they're electricians, and they do concrete, and they have real jobs. Essentially, they were just, into playing video games because they were children, and they were like, oh man, I could make this my job. I want to play video games for life, But, a lot of them grow out of it. And what's funny is when you tell them that will happen, You know, they're like, no way, no. Video games for life, video games. You know, because you don't know anything and they know everything and they're 12. Okay, time to fold. Trying to get this right in the middle. Ish. The annoying little turds. It can be hard to be more mature than everyone else. You know, I was always kind of like that. Um, you know, I never was into playing the same games that everyone it was. Um, you know, I thought that a lot of the kids were dumb and, you know, immature and stupid. And, you know, I always kind of hung out with the adults, you know. You know, some of us are kind of forced into that. Um, Others, they're just um, they're just kind of born. Um, you know, some people say old souls or whatever, but um, whatever. Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing? How you doing? You just getting off work, man? What time is it? Maybe? Or you want to break? Yeah, it was warm. Hot day. Yesterday was not much better as far as that goes. I was out in it, and it was not pleasant. Ethiopian food. Uh, Not all Ethiopians are poor or starving. I have a friend, or had a friend. He's died, but one of his best friends was from Ethiopia, and he moved here, right? Because he heard, America was the land of the free, and come here, get an education, blah blah blah. He moved back. Oh, hold on. He came here, went to college, was going to start a business, right? And he moved back to Ethiopia because he was like, "You're not free here." I don't know why people say that, but you're not. He was like, "You want to start a business in Ethiopia? You just start a business. You just do it." Here, it's crazy. So many rules. So he moved back. Because according to him, we actually were not free here. Now, this isn't a person that's like into politics and whatever. People can, get all stupid about all that stuff, And this was years before Trump and Biden and any of that stupid shit, too, right? This was just a man's experience. Eat a lot of rabbit. Yeah. But I get the joke, though. I get the joke. Okay, well that section looks like total shit. So we're gonna cut that out. Stupid. We don't like shittiness. Not free to operate with corrupt business practices. Well, that's true. To a degree. Right. That's why I said to a degree. It's like when you get into the billions of dollars, and some whatever some group you know passes $50 billion for you know some sort of whatever, and then you look at how that money was spent, right? You're like, oh, this person took a whole bunch of that money and they bought a personal house, and that cost however many millions, and then they had a wedding and that cost however many millions, and you know it's like that's not what that was about, you know but I'm not trying to get into any of that shit. Some people are overly passionate about that stuff, and I'll admit that I don't understand all of it, you know, but I find that the people that are the loudest and have the most intense opinions about that shit will never admit that they don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, and or that they don't really know. Oh, thanks, man. I got your message, but I haven't been able to look at it yet. Um, Let me look in 1 second. So, Monday, the 8th, September. Well, I'll just have to make it work. You know, there you go. Let me see what's going on. Frida, go now. Yeah, I've seen that too. Um, that that's funny. It's funny, right? But that would never work, really. You know. No, it's fine, hon. Don't worry about it. You know, I I can do whatever I want, um, and I can make my own schedule, and so if that's what works for you guys, I can work around your shit, you know. So don't worry about it. Um, that sounds cool. Um, you know. What time is it? Oh, it's dinner time for the rock dog. Is it dinner time? You hungry? Right. There's your answer. I'll be right back. Oh, you need more water. Bam. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Just give me a call and I'll shoot you the shit. And oh, Rox needs to go outside. Okay. It's fairly easy to find. Oh, yeah, I haven't been here for her to work on me all day, you know, which is probably a good thing. But if I'm here, you know, she eats and she's like all happy and lays down for 20 minutes, and then she's like, hey, Adam's here. I'm gonna like bug the shit out of him. TV 12 live. Is that somebody's channel? Running for office instead of complaining. Sure. Rock dog. Hi. What are you doing, crazy girl? It's warm outside, huh? You're cooking. I'll be right back, y'all. was hoping Rihanna would get home early enough so I could take her out to dinner or something. Okay, cool. CJ's probably still in here. Yeah, when it comes to politics, I think that, we can debate things and stuff like that, but I think we're kept too in the dark and purposely forced into different camps and tribes, and too much to have reasonable debates anyways. You know what I'm saying? How can we debate over these subjects when we're being lied to about the shit? You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know. That's just what I think. My view on like the Democratic and the Republican Party is it's an illusion of choice when there actually isn't one. That's what I think. I don't think there's a choice at all. I think they're both in bed with each other. Attack turtle. You know. Yeah, there's some turtles out there I would not want to fuck with, man. Like at all. Like dinosaur ass fucking turtles, man. It's like the size of a big dog's head. Huh. Yeah, there's a couple that you can own. A couple different kinds that you can own. Fluffy. Huh. Sure. Let's put the questions to rest. You went to a party with a turtle, or the turtle was there when you got there? I mean, that's cool. If you're like, "What's up, guys?" Just chilling with my homie. Oh, 1 second. I gotta send a message. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. It was the turtles party. Well, you know that party's gonna be cool. The turtles throwing it, man. They probably get the good stuff. Got all the good hookups. They probably get their shit through the gator. Gators don't fuck around. We know that the gators get their shit through the sharks. So it's about purity. You know. Oh shit! I didn't even notice that you changed it, man. Oh, right on, yeah. Han might be texting homegirl to find out about that turtle. A red-footed tortoise. It's a croc wearing Crocs, isn't it? Or is it a croc wearing flip-flops? Speaking of Crocs, I was watching a video about the making of that uh, now the name of the movie is slipping my mind, but the main character, his name was Not Sure. He's wearing Crocs. Okay. uh, Idiocracy. That's what it was. And everyone in that show wore Crocs, right? And what they were trying to do, right? The reason that they settled on that. Hey, what's up, Sparkle? the reason they settled on those shoes, right, is because they thought they were really, really dumb, and no one would ever wear them because they were that stupid. And at that time, Crocs were like an unknown brand. And they decided to go with those. And it's just kind of funny that now they're popular. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything about red-footed tortoises. Is that what it was? Red-footed or red-toed? Red-footed. So how you doing, Sparkle? Everybody say hi to Sparkle. Me and Jake know her from another live. They have red feet. Well, then they were named appropriately. I'm doing well, you know. I'm home now, hanging out with the dog and you good people, and I'm just kind of chilling, making up some vape coils, trying to build up a little bit of a surplus here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell the guys when y'all are coming up here, because I, told them it was happening and stuff, and at that point we didn't know when, right? And now that we know when, I can see if they're going to be available, because I think it'd be cool if all of us were in there, I think some of the guys kind of make their own hours, but Joey, our drummer, he works out at the refinery, so he's kind of got a set schedule. But that's just how that is. We might be able to get a couple of the guys. That's what I'm saying. And if not, it'll just be us, which will be, just as fun. And I'm gonna stop by the little medical store and pick up some wares, and I probably won't partake, but I've got a particular strain in mind that is really, really good for jamming. And it it has just enough of um, the psychoactive property, right? That makes, you know, the creativity and the jamming fun, and there's not much downer to it, and it doesn't slow down any of the brain and hand stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's some strains that'll do that, where there can be some latency there, you know, and this stuff doesn't do that at all. It's you can get fairly rippered on it, and you're still on top of it, you know. Um, so it out of all the strains I've found, I think it's the best for jamming. Ooh. Cool. I figured you would be. You'll have a carload of stuff on an over planner. That's fine. You know, I can get like that too. You know, I kind of look at it as like, um, you know, if you don't bring it, you're gonna end up needing it, and then, you know, you're in that position, right? Which is just shitty. Okay. Well, I have two mixers, and so are you planning on like double mic and everything, like the drums? You know, because what we can do is we can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? We can figure it out. I'm not 100% on how you're running your stuff, and you can look at how I'm running my stuff, and it might end up being a lot easier than we think, and whatever, you know. Um, how I'm doing my shit is ooh, that's no good. Is definitely not ideal, and I'd kind of like to see how you do your shit too. Um, you know, just I think you've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and I don't use a laptop or anything like that. I want to get a nice one and shit. I just basically run everything right into the damn phone, and it seems to be kind of working. Cool. Right on. Yeah, I got faith in our abilities. Um, I think we're gonna do all right. So, you know, especially if, you know, you get here, you know, at, you know, whatever time you said you were gonna get here, you know, it sounded like, you know, noon or what, you know, whatever, you know, um, we'll have plenty of time to figure out whatever, and um, Oops. And we'll get her. We'll get her done. Yeah. Well, shit, man. I mean, show up whenever you want. You know. Um. What time would you like to get here? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could spend, a considerable amount of time getting everything tits, and you know, if you show up here early enough, we can still jam for forever. You know. Um, I'm easy, dude. You know, I'm super easy. Where the fuck? I mean, if you want to show up here at 8 in the morning, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know. And we can do a couple practice runs with the sound, run it onto, a tablet or something. Do like a private stream and check the sound and see what needs to be changed and whatever. My past streams have been rushed. You know what I'm saying? Like we've the guys will show up and they want to jam. There's only so much time that they're there, and I might be able to work on stuff for 10 minutes, in addition to whatever I've been doing while they've been gone, which isn't the same when everybody gets there and we're using mics and somebody turns their amps up and Oh, I just updated my messages and I missed a bunch of shit. I just got shot with some juice. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I like to line out. Like, I can change my volume on my amp, right? And that just stays constant. The only time I need to adjust me in the mix is when these guys adjust their shit, But it's annoying. Yeah, I think John's gonna like the jam room. Um, I mean, no shit. I, you, you can be louder than, um, I think he'll even want to be. In there, you can be louder than you even want to be. Nobody gives a fuck. A hard C with a capital C. My little loop took a walk. That's just lame. Toilet. Yeah, we have a headphone amp here too. Um, we actually haven't even used it yet because we were going to use it when we record at some point. You know, use it when we record the scratch tracks. You know, have everybody have the click in their heads, phones, so we can everybody jam to the click, and then once that's done, you know, you go through and you basically erase the drums, and then the drums play to everybody else for their final run to, you know, the bass and the guitars that are playing to a click, and then everybody plays to the drums that are now perfect individually, and it's a process. You know, you got to play every song 5 times at least, you know, and that's if everything goes perfect. I mean, I haven't recorded a whole bunch of albums or anything like that. My previous band recorded 5, and we only released 3 of them. I don't even know what happened to the other ones, to be honest with you. Oh. Have a merch tent and charge admission to the jam sesh. No, that's fine. Um, I don't mind that, you know, changing tempos and any of that stuff. Um, you know, I've jammed long enough that I can feel it out, you know, pretty well. Um, I mean, you kind of got to do that anyway, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Shit. Yeah, I think it'll be fun, man. Yeah, I like your style of drumming. You know, you're solid, and you're a pocket drummer. I like those. I've played with the busy guys. Uh, I've played with the guys that like lose it in their rolls. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what their problem is, but like they can play beats and stuff, but as soon as they go to do a roll, they uh they can't come back on the one or the two or whatever it is that they need to do. They can't pull it off. you know. Which can be frustrating, you know, because I really like to lock in with the drums. You know what I'm saying? Google keyboard nerfs my curse words. Huh. That's weird. Can't you like tell the keyboard like, "Hey, I'm not 12." or being uh I don't live with my parents. I pay rent or mortgage or whatever, you know. Shut up. Fuck you. Yeah, I don't know. That stuff trips me out, man. That that control built bullshit for our safety. I'm not buying it. Holy Turk and spit. Trukin. Anyone know how to use speech to text on YouTube on Android? I'm having issues. Huh. Maybe. I I'm not a doctor, so I'm probably not the person to ask. That's bullshit. I lost my hoop, y'all. I need to make another one. I want to kick your puppy. Sure. Too bad she wasn't into it. Yeah, it kind of pisses me off that I need to like every um, oh, Well, it doesn't. Don't you have like a little microphone down there? Like on mine, like next to the little section where the words go in, on the left, there's a little microphone, and you can like click that, and it'll, another little microphone comes up, and it pulses whenever you speak, right? Um, but that's for me. Um, you know, wasn't the same on my last phone, so. Oh shit, huh? Hmm. Yeah, I haven't tried to use it while I'm watching a live, but I could see how it would do that because it takes over like your audio and shit, and anything that's playing audio. You piece of shit. Anything that's playing audio, it shuts down. Oh, that pisses me off. This thing just flew out of the chuck and like through my my damn hoop that I just made. And I know what's going to happen is Rihanna's going to come in here and step on the damn thing, and she's going to be all kinds of pissed. There's one of them. But is that the one that I just made, or what? Horse shit. All right. Yeah, I'm on Android too. I don't know. I've always been on an Android. To me, the iPhones and iPads and all that stuff is weird to me. I'm not used to it. I know that it's supposed to be user friendly and all that shit. To me, it's confusing. Um, Rihanna loves it, and I almost got her to switch last time she bought a phone, but she didn't. She's still sucked into that garbage. Yeah, well, I know. That wasn't on purpose. It's not like I'm walking around the house snipping this shit everywhere and being like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck your feet. Yeah, I like Android. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know. It works for me. Okay, that's like gonna drive me nuts. She beat me down. No. Rihanna's a good girl. No beating up Adam. You son of a bitch. All right. Fuck it. I'm over it. No more coils for tonight. I must be fatigued or something. Yeah. You can go over there. You can go in there. What I think is funny is, up at the top here, it says there's one person in here. It keeps on going from 0 to 1. And I know there's more than one person in here. Now there's 3, now that I've mentioned it. But I think it's kind of funny that I had 3, 4 people talking in here, and it's at 0. I've just kind of learned to not pay attention to that damn thing. I think in some cases, some people come in here and then they end up leaving before the numbers even updated. Oh, here we go. I found it. There's the other one. No problems. No spankings. Oh, okay. Who knows? That's totally possible. It's possible that you leave and come back. My zipper's up. That's a rip. I've got a rip in the crotch, but I don't give a shit. A lot of my shorts are like that. To be honest with you. But you probably had left and come back before the numbers even done anything. Nice hole. Yes. That's what I thought. Yeah, right now. It's because he's gay. Croc's gay and he drinks the pink drinks. Sketchy tweaker shoplifters. They going around and pretending they're gonna buy this and buy that. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I need to make room in my truck." And they walk outside like this. I'll be right back. And they put like zip ties on the on the counter, or something that's like a buck. After loading up. Yeah, Rihanna's second job. She also works at Harbor Freight, right? And she'd tell me about these guys that would go in there, right? And they would like load up the cart with like multiple welders and like floor jacks and stuff like that. Just completely load that shit up with thousands of dollars for the shit, and just push it out the door. Because it's that store's policy that you can't stop them from stealing. That, that's pretty gay. Because I'm gay. Well, the reason is I'm gay. Busting out that olive oil. The holy oil. Loves it. Oh man, I seriously got some sun up on that damn overpass, man. Or not overpass, but the whatever the fuck. Outside, my face is kind of burnt. Yeah, kind of got burnt like right here too, right in this little section. Like not so much down here, because this is already used to the sun, but right here. Well, Well, the secret's out, and you've told everyone. So you just fucked up. you gonna crap some kids? Shit children. Yeah, Croc likes the red sock. You can have babies if you say you can. Yeah, and men can have periods. Four times this week alone. Is you making up for lost time? And does your period come out of your navel? Or does it like you have to do like one of these? Oh yeah, okay. Dumbass. Well, push. And you might meet your goal. Push down. Q-tip for a tampon. Yeah. Or you can get a paper towel and do one of them. You know, make a little snake. You know, take one of these guys. Make yourself a little snake. You know, like that. Like magic, you made yourself a little pecker plug, you know. Look at that. You bleed for a month on that thing. Duct tape. No, you know what you could use? Have you seen those, what are they called? They're called like moon somethings. I forget what they're called. but they're like these. They're not rubber. They're like latex cups with like a little dingleberry at the end. And chicks, they fold them, right? Stick them up inside, and they do like a little cooter flex, and it opens it up on the inside, right? Um, what you could do is just cap it. Take one of those things and just, do some capping action, and then just tape it around the end. You know. Moon cup. That's what they're called. I think they're called a moon cup. Penile Kegel exercises. Yeah, I can Kegel 90. Is that a lot? I take these guys right here. Do like just put tape around it, then start doing a swing job, Called the helicopter. Okay. Well, you might want to use wire a little bit thicker than this stuff. Otherwise, it'll probably cut. You might want to just go for rope. Get to the chop up. It's funny. Get to the chopper. Our old drummer in the old band, he had one of those. I think it was a PDX something. It was basically a drum pad. I think it had 6 on the front and then 3 on the top. And he queued up a bunch of Arnold shit into it. Like quotes from movies and whatever. And in between songs, when we were playing shows, he would hit that shit and, make people out the crowd laugh and shit, Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, those are fun. I want Joey to get one, at least to use one. They're cool. they're expensive, man. The new ones, you know. Roxy, you stop it. You're just a dog. Okay? Here, you show me what you want. Okay, go. You want another snack? What do you want? Oh, man. Happy National Dog Day. Are you serious? My Discord is medium. Huh. I must be out the loop, man. I wasn't aware that it was Dog Day. You got a day for fucking everything now. Hey, it's National Hamster Day. You also identify as a dog. Sure. Why not? Speaking of people identifying as animals and shit, you know, me and Rihanna, we know this guy who works at, for the school district, right, around here. He came into her work, and she was like, oh shit, you know, hey, how have you been? How's work going? Blah, blah. And he was like, I've got 2 more years to go. I cannot wait to get out of that school district. The kids have lost their minds. They're crazy. You know, I'm having to replace the sinks every day because they're continually being ripped off the walls. And I just had to finish installing litter boxes at one of the schools. I don't remember which one. He works at all of them, right? but he had to install litter boxes at the schools for the kids that identify as cats. But he's like over it. And I've got a cousin that works as a nurse at one of the schools, and she's checked out too. You know, she's like, yeah, the kids are bad, but their parents are like retarded. She's like, it's one thing when you have, she said that, I'm dealing with teens. She works at a high school, right? And she says that, teens have always had a level of stupid to them, right? But now you've got parents that show up where these kids are telling their parents what to do. And, she can't wait till she's, I almost said graduated, but she's retired, Porta potties are for emergency. No, she's not a nurse for Mount Vernon. But the guy that we know works in the Mount Vernon district. So no, Mount Vernon. There's neighboring towns, but they're not the same school district. But the guy, he works at, in the Mount Vernon school district, and that's where he had to install the litter boxes. And what's crazy is I don't know if it's like this at these particular school districts, but there's some school districts where the teachers are forced to affirm these kids' identities, no matter how crazy it is, right? To the point where, say, a teacher assigns an assignment, whether it's history, math, whatever. These kids can answer all their questions by writing down meow, right? Find the square root of, whatever, meow. Who served as a president during, between such and such year, meow, right? And the teachers have to recognize that, because not to is is to deny their identity, right? And they can lose their job, right? And the whole thinking, if you want to call it that, behind this is the kids say, it's the right answer, right? I've written down the right answer. It's not my fault you don't speak cat. Right? And it got me thinking. Like, since a lot of you can find universities that are like this, right? It's not just the little kids in middle school and through high school it's like this. You can find universities that are like this. So it's like, if I really wanted to, I could go to one of these universities and get a PhD in whatever and just write meow on fucking everything, you know? And just throw it all back on my professors. Be like, oh no, it's right. In fact, this is better than anything that you could ever come up with. You just don't speak cat, so you don't realize that meow is the perfect answer. Tisk, tisk. Well, there's different ways to think about it, you know. But I get what you're saying. I'm one to point at history, right? And see that this has already happened before. What we're seeing now has already happened many times. You know, it normally happens right before the collapse of a society. Society, I've already talked about this in my lives before, but a society will have its sexual revolution. Shortly after that, it has its homosexual revolution. Then shortly after that, they blur the sexes, and then people start identifying as anything, right? Because their compass becomes, it no longer points north anymore. And either the society crumbles from within or they get taken over by a neighboring society that isn't suffering from these problems. You know. All right, man. Sounds good. Yeah, shoot me a text and I'll shoot you the address, and we'll rock out, man. Have any of you guys seen those two black dudes? They're twins. I'm pretty damn sure they're twins. No, I'm not doing that, man. And anyways, these guys, they always have like, I don't know, 200 or 300 people in their lives, and they're always like, I don't know, they're always saying like words of encouragement and stuff like that, right? But they're always like trying to flex like whatever money they've got. No, these guys aren't conservative. Okay, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the Hodge twins. These are just like, in fact, I've got some of their merch. Rihanna bought like a sweatshirt and a hat. Like that hat that I'm normally wearing is from their merch store. But these guys are just like two goofballs, right? And they're on quite a bit. You know, I could get on my other phone and go through the lives and see if I could find them. But they're always flexing like whatever cash they've got, and it's always like, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks maybe, if that. You know, I know it's like, I don't know, maybe a stack of money like this big, and it's like a bunch of ones, maybe a 5 in there. But they're, you know, they just stand in front of the camera like this. What's up, guys? You know, blah blah blah. You know, make sure you do good today. Love each other. Blah blah blah. And then they'll bring out their money and they start doing this. You know, acting like they're counting it and shit. And everybody's like, dude, that's like $12. Stop it. I mean, they seem like nice enough guys, right? But it's it's kind of sad. Let me see if I can find these dudes.
Make sure it's on the list for.
They might be on, they might not be. So I haven't seen him in a minute. Oh shit, Raider X is on. There's there's so much weird shit on lives, dude. There really is. There's so much weird shit on here. Raider X, he is a good guitar player, man. But um, sometimes I think he wants to bring like new stuff out. You know, like if he plays stuff that he's got down really well, he rocks it. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's like, oh man, I want to play something new. But he brings it out there before he's got it down 100%. But he also noodles, you know, and but the guy smokes. I mean, he really is an incredible guitar player. Um, oh shit, who's that guy? That's funny. The saying in a minute. Is that what you mean? Like when I say in a minute? Huh. The expression is unique. Hum. Maybe up there, but in a minute, it's pretty common down here. At least I've always thought it was, but I say it all the time. Like, in a minute, we're gonna go, you know, eat tacos. Whatever. I had a buddy. He used to say right quick. He was from down south. You know, like, let's do this right quick. Which I always thought was kind of a trip. You know, right quick. Holy shit. This little stream is so full of fish, y'all. So many fish in this tiny little stream. I mean, you could like literally throw a tiny rock across this thing and it is just shit packed with fish. What's up, John? Yeah, fixing, which is like getting ready. Yeah, I saw. Did you not hear me say, "What's up, John"? I know you're back. Everyone in here knows you're back. You know, we can see your name. Yeah, fixing dinner. That's right. But the way they say it is like, we're fixing to make dinner. So, like, switch out fixing with, like, getting ready or preparing to. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm fixing dinner, I'm fixing supper, you know. But it's like it's a it's a weird way that they say it, you know. Like, I'm fixing to go up the road and buy some beer. I'm I'm fixing I'm fixing to get up and get in my truck. Most of us are direct descendants of U.S. founders. Hmm. I qualify for DAR. What's that? Daughters of the American Revolution. Okay. Oh. I don't know what that entitles you to. That's cool. I hope. He'll be buried in Iowa. Why Iowa? Major American patriot. Well, I'm glad that's what it stood for. Here, map and maps can stand for other things. No, minor attracted person. It's a term that people came up with. So for people that were offended when someone called them a pedophile, they're like, pedophile is a derogatory term. Um, they prefer to be called maps. It's like, I don't give a shit. Let them be offended, you know? Like, I don't know if you guys will remember this, but a few years ago now, this was before, the TGIA plus 2, all the other numbers and letters got added to, gay. There was a very short period when P was added. It only lasted for a couple weeks, but it was quickly removed and replaced with a plus, right? And then shortly after that, the rest of the letters were added. But that was for pedophile. And what I thought was crazy is during that short time when that was added on YouTube and on television, there were a few TV shows that were released, like full-length TV shows, right, that were released on YouTube. They were like in everybody's algorithm. I know I wasn't searching for this stuff, but it was in my feed, and these were like shows that were to like garner sympathy for these people, right? To show it from their side, their perspective, and how they had really no say in how they felt about these kids. And it was just how they were born, and whatever, And so they were like interviewing these people and following them around, going through their day-to-day life, just kind of like show that they were normal and all this shit, right? And that lasted the entire time that the P was on the whole acronym, right? And then they removed the acronym and removed the letter and then replaced it with a plus. And then all those shows got taken off. And you couldn't really find them anymore. But I forget what that is called, but it's it's like white papering or something. It's a military tactic, right? But it's done on societies, right? And what they do is they test the waters, right? And to see if a society is ready to accept a certain way of thinking yet. And they'll kind of allude to or throw out an idea or whatever. And if it flies, they keep it, right? And if it doesn't fly, they pull it back and it never happened. And in fact, you're mistaken, that meant something else. whatever. And if you talk to people that are in the community, the P only stood for pan, right? And it's like, well, why'd you remove it then? You know? And but those of us who are familiar with the tactics and recognize the shows that just so happen to be put out at the same time and all the other shit, it was too much for it to not mean something, but that will eventually become a thing. And it's all going to be, it's all going to have to do with consent, right? If the kid says so, right, then who's to say, right? Which is why right now they're trying to take a different tactic, which is through the surgeries and stuff. They're trying to pass laws right now saying that the parents don't need to know, 11 or 12 and can get the surgeries, and they don't have to run it by their parents. They don't, the kid can decide. And, for anybody that wants to be like, oh, it will never get that way, that would never happen, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Look at the past. That's all you need to do. Just look at the past and see that those people were people. And it happened then. So, well, it's a dark topic anyways. Yeah. And that's why all that stuff's happening at the schools. They're trying to normalize that shit. And I know I've talked about this before, but we know that children can be turned into monsters like that way. We know that because of the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Actually, really read that story. And there's some stuff that you can gloss over. All right, man. You can gloss over pretty easily. But if you read it carefully, you'll find out that even the children in those places were fucked up. And that's now there's people that are like, oh, hey, that's just a story, blah blah blah. Yeah, well, they've already found Sodom and Gomorrah. "10 years ahead." That's we can guess that, right? 10 years ahead, but um, um, right. Well, they've been trying to do that here, you know. So, 10-year-olds, yeah. Yeah, to me that's crazy. That's crazy. I've I, I've that's crazy to me. And I think that they're playing a long game. That's not really the point. You know, sure, that's bad, blah, blah, blah. But I think that it's all about consent. And eventually legalizing other acts, right? And I honestly think that it's a push. This is just a theory, but I think it's a push to make things so crazy that even the people that think they want this stuff will eventually end up begging for some kind of system to be put in order to no longer allow any of it, right? Because they're going to see what it's actually caused. And rather than going to the Gospels, right, I think that they will embrace another worldview. And, then heads are going to start getting chopped. Because we need to, look at prophecy, There's things that have been prophesied that are going to happen, right? And we can trust that because everything else has come true, right? Well, we'll see. Like I always say, time will tell. I've got a lot of theories about a lot of different things, but I don't know. time will tell. Time will tell. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. It will be. Definitely be rough. But, I'm really not too worried about it. A lot of people really freak out about, all the things that are supposed to happen and all this stuff, and I'm really not worried about it. We'll see, We'll see how it goes. We'll just have to see. Well, I understand that. 13. That's rough. Man. I was already up to doing crazy stuff by the time I was 13. I wouldn't care. I'm old. I'll be right there. I'm preparing the tomato. It's the tomato we grew. It's really orange. Sure. Yeah, we all go through certain things, and these things are actually supposed to happen to us, believe it or not. Damn, that is bright. I'm gonna pull it down a tiny bit, get the sun out of my damn face. See if that helps. There we go, kinda. It's really bright right here. But man, it's got the AC going in here, and I can't turn it off. Otherwise, she freaks out. And I'm cold. I got goosebumps. It's so damn cold in this house. Oh, the sound of the AC unit on the sweater. I could do that. Well, I'm in the sun now, so it's not too bad. I'll warm up shortly. Okay, I think I'm gonna try and make another coil. Let's see how it goes. The other one was just getting too squirrely on me. Okay. Itch right here. Bro is live. Sup? Rat. How you doing? Calm tone of my voice. Well, is it calm? This is just how I talk. And I'm not trying to sell you anything or put on some sort of persona, so I can lock in a bunch of. You just painted your entire body with blue paint. Yeah. That's an idea. Natural. Yeah, I try to be natural and genuine. I think more people should try and behave like what they want to see in the world. I've had some incredible there's a lyric, right, from the band Tool, and the lyric goes, "You're such an inspiration for all the ways I would never ever choose to be." And being raised in an environment that was full of chaos and screaming and constant yelling, I decided I wasn't going to be like that. Or being the passenger in a vehicle where someone was constantly upset with the person behind them or in front of them. And learning that really only ruined their day, because the person that you're yelling at and being upset with, they have no idea at all, right? At all. That you're carrying on and doing all this stupid shit. All you're doing is making yourself miserable and everyone else around you, like in your vicinity, but that person that you're upset with, they have no clue. You just ruin your own day, and everybody that you care about. Huh. Pickles the cat. That's a cool name for a kitty. Pickles. Yeah, regulate instead of escalate. You know, I mean, like, and I also had this psychology teacher, let's call him Nat. Hey, what's up, Droopy? And he would say that all the bad things that happen in your life, whether, you know, it's a situation like from, you know, a person or whatever it is, you know, they're nothing more than invitations. And they're all inviting you to lose your self-control. And, you know, this came up because someone in the class had mentioned that they, you know, lost control and it was their fault, right? That they lost control and blah, blah, blah. And this teacher kind of treated us all like adults. And he basically told this girl, bullshit, you know, you decided you were going to give up your control. Whatever happened to you is nothing more than an invitation. And you took that invitation and you decided you were going to give up control. And then started to call her weak. Not her directly, but said that people that are like that and give up their control are weak. And, you know, was basically, you know, talking about her in a way that she could realize that he was talking about her, right? And the rest of us could know that he was talking about her, but without being like, you know, her name wasn't Sarah or whatever, but Sarah here, you know. Well, no. He wasn't mocking her. He was being real with her. Because this is something she needed to learn. she can't blame, whatever situation for her lack of control. Right. Wow. Yeah, and a lot of the people in this class were like this. You know, um, it was, the class was a quarter long, right? It was only a quarter, which is, however many months, I can't remember. But, a quarter of a school year, right? But I took the class for 3 years because I learned so much from it, and every day was different. Let me catch up here. Okay. So, what are you up to, Droopy? Oh, right on, man. How old are the kids, man? Fifteen, 8, and 3. Ooh, right on. 15, 8, and 3. I don't remember what I was doing at 3. Um, I remember 8, some stuff. I remember some stuff from 15. 8 and 15 were both pretty crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have memories from that time myself, but not a bunch. I have memories that go all the way back to me being 1, actually, even before 1. And I've told my parents this, and they never believed me, right? Um, until I started to tell them things that I couldn't have known. And um, well, bad, but when you're that age, you don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm older, I realize they're bad. But like, here's a memory. Um, I remember being in the crib, right? And standing at the edge of the crib and waiting for my parents to start fighting, right? Because it would happen every night, right? And I couldn't sleep unless they were fighting. So I just remember sitting at the edge of the crib and staring at my door, which was shut, because my mom would carry me into the bedroom and put me in the crib. And then I would stand up and go and stand at the edge of the crib and wait for them to fight. And them fighting let me know that they were out there, right? I didn't know that it was bad. It was like, oh, okay, they're out there. I can sleep, you know. And but now when you get older, you look back at that shit and it's like, wow. Um, they fought so much that that was not only expected by me as a kid, but I found it comforting, you know. But, when you're a little kid, your father tried to gas. Oh, like with CO2? Or like, right, right. No matter what it is. Like, I've read some stories about children that were raised in satanic families, right? And some of the things that they thought was normal, right, would blow your mind. Absolutely blow your mind. Huh. Was he gonna try? I believe it. Yeah. Was he gonna try and blow the place up? Or was he gonna try? Was he just trying to suffocate you guys with natural gas, carbon monoxide? Okay. That's unfortunate. Um, huh. No, it isn't combustible, but it's poisonous. Yeah, I think about that, Troopy. You know, um, because I can think back about, my life and, things that's happened and whatever. And, you can do the woe is me thing and, do the whatever, but there's always someone out there that's had it worse, that's doing better, and you know they've overcome, you know, and those people now have a testimony, where they can help others that are going through that or something similar, you know. Yeah, some people, they, they let it destroy them, and, you know, um, you know, they they really aren't willing to heal, because they'll have to give up their um, their victimness, you know, and which is sad, especially when you think of, you know, people who've been through worse that are, you know, doing better, you know. Yeah, that happens too, man. I have relatives that behave that way. You know, they got into drugs, and um, they loved those military boys. You know, I had some relatives that were into that shit. Sure. Yeah, there's that too. You know, that doesn't offend me. Um, that happens. I know that for whatever reason, suicide has become a word that's like you can't say. I don't know why. I think it's, the people that are trying to control our language. I don't know why they've chosen that word, but well, it's good that they stood up for you, man. You know, it sucks that sometimes, people need to be like threatened in order to do the right thing, in order to just act normal. No, I understand that, CJ, but I'm just saying, these certain words that, have been chosen, um, it doesn't make any sense to me. All right, Droopy. You have a good one, man. Keep it real, rock on. No, I'm talking about the words that YouTube has decided are off limits. It's okay, Adam, you'll get it later. What? Did you say something that I missed? Was it germane to the conversation? What am I missing here? It's about time to move that damn blind again. I don't think she was laughing at you, man. Yeah, no worries, man. Ooh. Where my journey toward discovery is. Oh. See, I was confused. I thought you said something, and like I was, like I had missed something. Check this out. My uncle bought me this bear, right? He's supposed to like hold your phone. Doesn't really work with this one because I got this thing on the back, but I guess it kind of will. But that's what it's supposed to do. You know, that thing's kind of in the way, but I don't know if it'll even work, to be honest with you. I've never put a phone on it. I don't know. When he was still coming around, which he doesn't anymore because he's lost his damn mind, he was always bringing like the weirdest presents over here. Like this bear, he brought me like a couple, like, I don't know, swords, you know? I was like, what the hell is this all about, man? He was like, oh, you never know when you're gonna have to like mince and chop somebody. It's like, what? He was like, you know, mincing and chopping. Alright, dude, you fucking weirdo. Relationship with people. Well, I don't, you know, um, I don't think you messed up by sharing, Croc. Um, you know, everybody has been through something. I've heard some pretty horrible things over the years. Um, you know, some pretty fucked up shit. I've been through some pretty messed up stuff, myself. Um, I've got a lot of friends that have been through messed up stuff. Um, I think everybody has their own stories, and depending on how each person is, some people get destroyed by things that other people may listen to and be like, really? You know, that took you down, you know, and other people hear other stories and they're like, well, I would have killed myself, you know, and you know, um, you know, how are you still, you know, functioning? Um, So it's, you know, everybody, like I was telling CJ earlier, everything that we've been through, um, you know, as good and as bad as they were, and I know a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people hate to hear this, you know, was supposed to happen to us. And we learn that through reading the book of Job. And that's really all I need to say about that, or I have to say about that. Yeah. Yeah, you told me about that. Um, how she made you drink ammonia and tried to blame you, um, which is absurd. Right. No, I understand that, CJ. I'm just talking about in the book of Job, we learn that the devil, right, can only do to us um, what he's allowed to do. In fact, he has to ask permission. And that's why a lot of people read the book of Job and they stop being Christians, you know, because they find out that everything that they might have gone through is actually, you know, God's fault, right? What do you want, baby? You go potty? Go outside? Okay. Oh, shit. Roxy! Roxy! Come on. Rock dog. Come on. Alright. Yeah, that stupid ass yellow dog was out in the field. And Roxy's, you know, like, I can let her go outside, you know, and she'll just do her thing in the yard and, you know, come back. But if that yellow dog's out there, she'll see her as soon as I open up the door, and she just books it out in the field. And I'm just, luckily that dog has not tried to do anything, because Roxy will fuck that dog up. I mean, they're about the same size, but they're two different dogs. Yeah, the piss in the yard yellow dog, and you know, they'll stand up next to each other, and you know, Roxy's back is just, you know, flared up, like, do something, you know. The yellow dog's never done anything yet. Just hoping it doesn't happen, because I've broken up dog fights before in the past, and it gets messy. There it is, right there. Let's see if I can. Come on. There's the dog. It comes through the bush over there, and the house that it comes from is somewhere like, you know, like around that, let's see if around this corner. I know you can't really see as soon as my finger goes out there, but the field goes like this, and then it goes around this corner, and it kind of goes that way for a little while too. It's just like this little inlet of field, but there's houses, come on, like on this side of that little piece of field that goes in there. You know, it's just a little bit of field, and it goes, you know, it only goes in so far, and then it comes back out, and then goes way out that way. But no, it's it's my buddy Joel that came over here one day. He apparently knows the girl that owns the dog. Hey, look, it's on that side now. So it's some chick's dog, and you know, she lets it out to go potty or whatever, and the dog just roams. You know, I don't know what the deal is. So you're okay. You're a good girl, but you need to stop chasing that dog. Okay? You're fucking with that dog. Yeah. You're a good girl. You got dust and spider webs on your head now. wood on the walls. Jump up. Yeah. Dog looks like it's having fun. Yeah, it's cruising, you know. It obviously is, you know, catching some whiff of some other, you know, some other dog in the neighborhood, right? So she's got to come over here and, you know, piss on top of Roxy's piss spots, and, you know, I win. So just turns into this big fucking piss match, you know. Which is just terrible for the lawn. You know, like our little walkway goes out and does this, and there's this section that's closer to the house, right? Grass on that side is like just toast. You know, because we got like probably 3 dogs that are just pissing on it. Wood plank walls. Where are you seeing that? Oh, are you talking about like over here? Like right, that stuff? Like on the, underneath that little shelf? Or are you talking about the stuff that goes around the windows and shit? Or up there, the trim and everything? Like that trim is like is literally everywhere. We have the same trim everywhere. My dad actually cut that trim himself. You know, he took the wood and he ran it through, you know, the table saw with some sort of dado thing on it, and it cut out the 3, I don't know what you want to call it, 3 like pillar things in it, and so yeah, but you have a wall like that, about 3 feet wide. Oh, are you talking about right here? This wall? Because that's the same type of stuff right here. The whole house used to be kind of like that shit. Not the whole house, but this whole room was like that. Yeah, that's it's like it's not from mica. It's yeah, the stuff is like this thick. You know, it comes in sheets. Yeah, it's like a veneer. It's not a veneer though. It's there might be veneer on it. Because it's the old school shit, you know, where they use real wood. So it's real wood. Now, if you were to try to buy that stuff, it'd probably cost you a shit ton of money. You know, because it would be like real wood, you know. That 60s, 70s stuff. Hey babe, how you doing? You getting off work soon? Hmm. 8:30. So where do you want to order food from tonight? I'll buy. How's that sound? Nowhere? I haven't heard of Nowhere. I guess the real question is Nowhere any good? Or is it now here? You'll pick something up on your way home. Like what? What are you thinking? Nowhere. Yeah, I know. I'm not that dumb. I know I'm not a doctor or anything, but I know what I can recognize typos. I tell you, I'm hungry enough to eat this late. You hate eating this late. I don't mind. Zero problems. Yeah, it's growling because you're hungry. Yes. Yes. Cat tacos. Feline burrito. I'm down with taco time, babe. You guys haven't tried taco time, have you? Apparently, it's like just a Pacific Northwest thing, which is horrible. It needs to go everywhere. Maybe Croc's had it. He's been around here before. It is really good, especially for like you know, fast food. You know, like I was talking to Pierce, um, dang fricker, and you know, 'cause him and his whole crew, they eat fucking Taco Bell, right? I'm just like, dude, that that stuff is garbage. It's pricey, you know. But if you take into consideration what you're getting, right, and also take into consideration like uh like the average